Hey guys, Miss Tindy back again. We are going to read our next two chapters for the week. Edna's Ruthie. Ruthie, tall, skinny lady with red lipstick, blue babushka, one blue sock and one green because she forgot, is the only grown-up we know who likes to play. She takes her dog Bobo for a walk and laughs all by herself. That Ruthie. She doesn't need anybody to laugh with. She just laughs. She's Edna's daughter, the lady who owns the big building next door, 3 apartments, front and back. Every week, Edna is screaming at somebody, and every week somebody has to move out. Once she threw out a pregnant lady just because she owned a duck. And it was a nice duck, too. But Ruthie lives here, and Edna can't throw her out because Ruthie is her daughter. Ruthie came one day, it seemed, out of nowhere. Angel Vargas was trying to teach us how to whistle. Then we heard someone whistling, beautiful like the Emperor's nightingale. And when we turned around, there was Ruthie. Sometimes we go shopping and take her with us, but she never comes inside the stores, and if she does, she keeps looking around her like a wild animal in a house for the first time. She likes candy, and when we go to Mr. Benny's grocery, she gives us money to buy her some. She says make sure it's the soft kind because her teeth hurt. Then she promises to see the dentist next week, but when the next week comes, she doesn't go. Ruthie sees lovely things everywhere. I might be telling her a joke and she'll stop and say, "The moon is beautiful like a balloon." Or somebody might be singing and she'll point out a few clouds. "Look, Marlon Brando." Or a sphinx winking. Or my left shoe. Once, some friends of Edna's came to visit and asked Ruthie if she wanted to go with them to play bingo. The car motor was running and Ruthie stood on the steps wondering whether to go. "Should I go, Ma?" she asked the gray shadow behind the second floor screen. "I don't care," she says. The screen. "Go if you want to." Ruthie looked at the ground. "What do you think, Ma?" "Do what you want." "How should I know?" Ruthie looked at the ground some more. The car with the motor running waited 15 minutes, and then they left. When we brought out the deck of cards that night, we let Ruthie deal. There were many things Ruthie could have been if she wanted to. Not only is she a good whistler, but she can sing and dance too. She had lots of job offers when she was young, but she never took them. She got married instead and moved away to a pretty house outside the city. Only thing I can't understand is why Ruthie is living on Mango Street if she doesn't have to. Why is she sleeping on a couch in her mother's living room when she has a real house all of her own? But she says she's just visiting and next weekend her husband's going to take her home. But the weekends come and go and Ruthie stays. No matter, we are glad because she is our friend. I like showing Ruthie the books I take out of the library. "Books are wonderful," Ruthie says, and then she runs her hand over them as if she read them in Braille. "They're wonderful, wonderful, but I can't read anymore. I get headaches. I need to go to the eye doctor next week. I used to write children's books once. Did I tell you?" One day I memorized all of The Walrus and the Carpenter because I wanted Ruthie to hear me. "The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all his might." Ruthie looked at the sky and her eyes got watery at times. Finally, I came to the last lines. But answer came there none. And this was scarcely odd because they'd eaten every one. She took a long time looking at me before she opened her mouth, and then she said, "You have the most beautiful teeth I've ever seen," and went inside. The Earl of Tennessee. Earl lives next door in Edna's basement, behind the flower boxes Edna paints green each year, behind the dusty geraniums. We used to sit on the flower boxes until the day Tito saw a cockroach with a spot of green paint on its head. Now we sit on the steps that swing around the basement apartment where Earl lives. Earl works nights. His blinds are always closed during the day. Sometimes he comes out and tells us to keep quiet. The little wooden door that has wedged shut the dark for so long opens with a sigh and lets out a breath of mold and dampness, like books that had been left out in the rain. This is the only time we see Earl, except for when he comes and goes to work. He has 2 little black dogs that go everywhere with him. They don't walk like ordinary dogs, but leap and somersault like an apostrophe and a comma. At night, Nenny and I can hear when Earl comes home from work. First, the click and whine of the car door opening, then the scrape of the concrete, the excited tinkling of dog tags, followed by heavy jingling of keys, and finally the moan of the wooden door as it opens and lets loose its sigh of dampness. Earl is a jukebox repairman. He learned his trade in the South, he says. He speaks with a Southern accent, smokes fat cigars, and wears a felt hat, winter or summer, hot or cold, don't matter. A felt hat. In his apartment are boxes and boxes of 45 records, moldy and damp like the smell that comes out of his apartment whenever he opens the door. He gives the records away to us, all except the country and the western. The word is that Earl is married and has a wife somewhere. Edna says she saw her once when Earl brought her to the apartment. Mama says she's a skinny thing, blonde and pale like salamanders that have never seen the sun. But I saw her once too, and she's not that way at all. All the boys across the street say she is a tall, red-headed lady who wears tight pink pants and green glasses. We never agree on what she looks like, but we do know this. Whenever she arrives, he holds her tight by the crook of her arm. They walk fast into the apartment, lock the door behind them, and never stay long. I'm going to read the next chapter too. Sire. I don't remember when I first noticed him looking at me, sire, but I knew he was looking. Every time. All the time. I walked past his house, him and his friends sitting on their bikes in front of the house pitching pennies. They didn't scare me. They did, but I wouldn't let them know. I don't cross the street like other girls. Straight ahead, straight eyes. I walk past. I knew he was looking. He had to prove to me. I wasn't scared of nobody's. Not even him. I had to look back hard, just once, like he was glass, and I did. I did once. But I looked too long, and when he rode his bike past me, I looked because I wanted to be brave, straight into the dusty cat fur out of his eyes, and the bike stopped, and he bumped into a parked car, and I had walked fast. It made your blood freeze to have somebody look at you like that. Somebody looked at me. Somebody looked. But his kind, his ways, he's a punk, Papa says, and Mama says not to talk to him. And then his girlfriend came. Lois, I heard him call her. She is tiny and pretty and smells like baby skin. I see her sometimes running to the store for him. And once when she was standing next to me at Mr. Benny's grocery store, she was barefoot, and I saw her barefoot baby toenails, all painted pale pink, pink like little pink seashells, and she smells like pink little babies do. She's got big girl hands, and her bones are long like the lady's bones, and she wears makeup too. But she doesn't know how to tie her shoes. I do. Sometimes I hear them laughing, late. Beer cans and cats and the trees talking to themselves. Wait, wait, wait. Sire lets Lois ride his bike around the block, or they take walks together. I watch them. She holds his hand, and he stops sometimes to tie her shoes. But Mama says those kinds of girls, those girls, are the ones that go into the alleys. Lois who can't tie her shoes. Where does he take her? Everything is holding its breath inside me. Everything is waiting to explode like Christmas. I want to be all new and shiny. I want to sit out bad at night, a boy around my neck and the wind under my skirt. Not this way. Every evening talking to the trees, leaning out my window, imagining what I can't see. A boy held me once so hard, I swear I felt the grip and weight of his arms, but it was a dream. Sire. How did you hold her? Was it like this? And when you kissed her? Like this?